Welcome to Puddlecast, where we discuss safety, water, environment, and career development topics. Let's jump in.
Okay, well, down here on the Puyallup, first cast 2024, salmon season, opener, down here with a bunch of other people, but trying to catch a salmon in the river, which is one of my favorite times of year. This is a river that, as you can see, is glacier fed, so it is not very clear or clean in terms of its turbidity level, but the salmon are moving through here to get to their spawning waters up at Voigt Creek and a couple other places. So this is sort of a through point. It's a place for them to go through and swim to their home waters. And one thing about fishing, and I guess why I love this, is this sort of reminds me, it's generational. It reminds me of doing stuff with my grandfathers. Both of my grandfathers were tremendous fishermen. They mostly did, well, my grandpa on my mom's side did a lot of saltwater fishing. So he was a big catch the salmon in the saltwater. So was my grandpa on my dad's side, but my grandpa on my dad's side taught me how to fish in freshwater oftentimes. And he would take me out to the lake and teach me about trout and stuff like that. And then it wasn't until, my college days where I really started to spend a lot more time on the river by myself and looking for salmon and steelhead and some of these anadromatous species, some of these species that migrate, adromatous, I don't know, whatever that word is, where they go to the ocean and come back into freshwater. So that was something that I started picking up as a college person, and I've been doing it ever since. This is where I sort of zen out, and you really can only focus on what you're doing. In fact, this is difficult for me even talking because when you're fishing, you have to be focused on feeling what's going on the bottom and making sure you're doing accurate casts and all that good stuff. But anyway, we're gonna try this. When my grandpas used to take me fishing, it was different. This is, there are, 40, 50 cars on the side of the road up there. And just the places to be able to access water to fish as the public is becoming more and more difficult. And I'll also say, back when my grandpa we used to go down to the river just to watch the salmon migrate upstream. And I remember picking up fish out of the water. They were so stacked up in there, you could grab them and move them. And what we're fishing for here is an occasional bite, swimmer through. You may have a few that come through at a time, but it's not like they're all stacked up in here. And it's, I'm looking at maybe a dozen rods down there. Nobody's bent over. They're all, doing exactly what I'm doing and trying to find the occasional fish that's swimming through. So it's not like it was. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's not just fishing and fishing pressure, or it's not even just water quality. It's a combination of all kinds of things, whether that be temperature of the water or fishing, or just lack of habitat, or some of these things that have been happening out in the ocean, like acidification and some of these weird movements of warm waters that have caused these major kills. And there's also been a lot of harvest or farming, if you will, in water farming of fish that has generated disease and caused some real challenges for salmon populations to continue to excel and to continue to have high populations where we can fish them. It's a bummer. because I wanted my kid to really get into this, but I think I lost him. I brought him down a couple times, and it's too boring. It's just not, they don't come in contact with fish enough for it to be something that they want to continue to do. It takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of persistence, and if they don't have the experience of fighting a fish, they lose interest. And that's unfortunate, and I think that's sort of where a lot of our generation's at. One, I think our generation has other distractions. I think there's a lot of things that don't drive them outside, and we're losing some of that. We're losing some of our generations to not having experiences, and part of that's also leading to other people's valuation of fishing and hunting, and people just don't value it. A lot of people think that all the food that we get comes from a grocery store out of a cellophane wrapper, and nobody's gone out to actually, harvest their own food for the table, which I think is one of the most gratifying aspects of what we're doing. I mean, it's all organic material. People are spending a lot of money at a grocery store for 100% organic. Well, what if you can go get your own organic, food? That's part of what we're doing, and it's unfortunate for the individual fish or the individual animal that gets harvested, but the dollars that we're spending in buying licenses and gear and all that kind of stuff go into supporting habitat, and it helps not only the thing that you're after, but everything else that lives in the same location. So the steelhead that are in this river, which I can't keep right now, or the bass that are downstream, or whatever, they all have benefits because we're buying fishing licenses and things like that. So it's important to keep those perspectives in place, because if you don't have the sportsmen who care about these fish, who care about wildlife, who care about the animals that they hunt, who if that aspect isn't there, and we just think that everything that we get is from a commercial base, we're going to lose this as a resource, and it would be an unfortunate thing to have that happen. It just, complacency or lack of interest is going to drive people to vote in certain ways or not care about voting in certain ways because they don't have any firsthand experience or firsthand knowledge of what it's like to go out and catch a fish, or what it's, I just talked to a couple of guys the other day who they're in their 30s and they have never caught a fish before, and it shouldn't shock me, but it does. It always does. And unfortunately, I've had the fortunate ability to live on a lake all my life, and one of my favorite things is working with a kid or a grown adult that's never caught a fish before and have them experience that for the first time. I think there's something to be said about that, and there's something to very neat to see that happen. But they just have never done it because, one, they don't know how to get started, and it just hasn't been part of their growing up. It hasn't been something that they did with their dad or grandpa, or it's not generational. And it's important that people get out there and do it. It's important that people try this stuff and experience it. The gratification that you have of spending a day on the water and trying to catch your own food or hunt for your own food. Two things: you're not in the rat race, which is something really hard for me to get out of. There's so much going on, and I'm the type of personality that when there's not something going on, I will make something going on, so that I got a double. I don't like sitting still, let's put it that way. And the second part of that is that you need it for your health. My gosh, I mean, the amount of pressure that we have to live our life, and that could be part of why people don't fish either too, is just because people are so strapped for time, and this doesn't help you earn money. But I guess I'm starting to realize the older I get, I need to do this more and more, just for my emotional and physical health. I need these breaks. I need this time to not be focused at an agenda or focused at an objective or, following through on an initiative, but I need to take the time to have good thoughts and have a positive outlook, because that is going to help shape those initiatives and help I get that performance where it needs to be when I do my work. So anyway, if you haven't tried fishing, give it a shot. If you need somebody to help you, give me a call. I'm happy to talk to you about fishing and how I've done, anything from salmon fishing to fly fishing to bass fishing. You can't will the fish to do what you want. You have to strategize, and you have to plan, and you have to believe that what you're presenting and what you're offering is something that they want. And that has to do with also understanding, that was close, understanding their biology, understanding what they do and how they live their life, to find out if what you're presenting and what you're offering them is something that's going to get them on the end of your line. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with everybody. I think getting out on the water is important. Trying fishing in your life is something that you ought to try to do, and it's part of why I do what I'm doing from the stormwater standpoint. Is I want this for my grandkids. I'm going to do my best to, when I have grandkids, to get them out. And I have such great memories with my grandfathers fishing. That's part of what shaped me. It's part of what made me. And I want my grandkids, I want to take my grandkids and have that same kind of experience. So anyway, that's today's, I thought it was a stick. Got my heart racing. And that's today's Puddlecast, coming to you from the Puyallup River. I'll probably do more of these because it is the first of the season, so I'll probably come down here and do a few more of these as we go. But thanks for being a part. And again, if you have any questions, or you want to talk about anything, or you want to learn what we do as a business for stormwater and water quality, CWTtrainingacademy.com. If you need any of our outreach material, puddleoutreach.com. Thanks for listening.
Thank you to today's special guest. Join us again on the next Puddlecast.